Mr Deputy Speaker, one of the centrepieces of this year's budget was the updated Women's Economic Security Statement. This builds in the important work of my predecessor, Kelly O'Dwyer, the Minister for Women, and then for Higgins, who released the inaugural Women's Economic Security Statement in 2018. The statement was of particular importance this year with COVID. Mr Deputy Speaker, there are 5 priorities of this very important Women's Economic Security Statement. The first priority contained in the WES is to repair and rebuild women's workforce participation and further close the gender pay gap, which was at record levels before COVID. Amongst other things, this is why the government has announced our $1.5 billion modern manufacturing strategy. This is not the manufacturing of old. We are talking about complex, high-value manufacturing using smart technology and levering off research and development, design, logistics and services. We're talking about modern industries such as food and beverage, medical products, recycling and clean energy, defence and space. The Morrison government is particularly keen to see women lead this manufacturing revolution with sizable investments targeted at women in science, technology, engineering and mathematics, or STEM. This includes $25 million for the Women in STEM cadetships and advanced apprenticeships to create STEM career pathways for up to 500 women through industry-sponsored advanced apprenticeship-style courses starting next year. Mr Deputy Speaker, another measure is the government's $36 million commitment to boosting Female Founders Initiative to support up to 282 additional startups and 4,300 women entrepreneurs. Access to early-stage capital is one of the biggest challenges female founders face. This initiative provides early-stage capital and allows female entrepreneurs to grow their businesses and expand into broader markets. Mr Deputy Speaker, the Morrison government is keen to see women crack into high-skilled, high-paying industries which will help us bridge the gendered pay gap. Mr Deputy Speaker, the second priority is greater choice and flexibility for families to manage work and care. We're doing that by investing in childcare at record levels. In 2020 to 2021, the government will pay a record $9.2 billion in childcare subsidy payments, and that will grow to $10.7 billion in coming years. This investment continues to put downward pressure on the out-of-pocket costs that families pay. In fact, they have fallen by 3%. Prior to us coming to government, they were rising. Under the policy of those on the other side of the chamber, in fact, costs of childcare had gone through the roof with an increase of more than 50%. Mr Deputy Speaker, the childcare policies that we initiated in 2018 are working to help women get back into the workforce and to assist them in realising their dreams. Prior to COVID, the gender pay gap for women had fallen to a new low. Female workforce participation had risen to a record high. As a government, we know that accessible and affordable access to childcare is key to allowing women to work full-time or start a business. We also want to make sure our government is supporting it in a targeted and means-tested way. Our childcare policy settings are designed to help those who need it most. Mr Deputy Speaker, the third priority is to support women as leaders and positive role models. The concept that if she can do it, so can I is a very powerful motivator. Men take for granted that they have role models of power and influence. For women, this is a relatively recent development in our history. This is why the Morrison government is investing $47.9 million to expand the Women's Leadership program to help women retain employment and build career pathways with an emphasis on male-dominated industries. Having a female role model could be the key to encouraging a woman to start the business she has always dreamed of. Mr Deputy Speaker, the fourth priority is to respond to the diverse needs of women. Mr Deputy Speaker, we know that women experiencing multiple disadvantage have lower workforce participation rates than the national average for Australian women. The government is committing $41 million across 2 years of a budget for the Career Transition Assistance Program. This program makes it easier for mature-age job seekers and volunteers to access training to increase digital literacy, find job opportunities and identify transferable skills. This is really valuable for women looking to get back into the workforce with increased hours at a very critical time of their life. Mr Deputy Speaker, the fifth priority is to support women to be safe at home and safe at work. This is why the government is supporting women and children experiencing family and domestic violence through more than $2 billion through the National Legal Assistance Partnership and increasing funding to the Federal Circuit Court and providing $60 million to Safe Places emergency accommodation. Mr Deputy Speaker, for those raising families, re-entering workforce or getting back into a business, the Morrison government is delivering in spades. Thank you very much.
I call the member for Eden Monaro.